This episode of Into the Music is brought to you by Coda Music. It's a great way to discover new music and listen to all of your favorite artists for free. The link is in the description. In today's episode we're going to explore Chris Brown. Greeted with comparisons to young Michael Jackson and Usher, Chris Brown arrived in 2005 as a squeaky-clean pop-R&B artist with Run It, the first debut single by a male artist to top the Billboard Hot 100 in over a decade. While there was nowhere to go but down, at least in terms of chart positions, the singer, dancer, and occasional rapper was only getting started. Within a few years, Brown became one of the biggest active pop stars with Chris Brown 2005 and exclusive 2007, multi-platinum albums that produced 5 more top 10 singles, including Kiss Kiss and Forever. As a featured artist or duettist, he added to the count with hits such as No Air, a ballad with Jordin Sparks. By the end of the decade, Brown underwent a stylistic makeover during which his forebears shifted to the likes of Jodeci, R. Kelly, and Tupac. This, and a more drastic change in public image, did little to slow his commercial momentum. His streak of top 10 albums was sustained with releases such as Graffiti 2009, the Grammy-winning F.A.M.E 2011, and Fortune 2012. Brown's artistic scope has since continued to widen with Heartbreak on a Full Moon 2017 and Indigo 2019, albums as long as Epic Films, and Slime and Be 2020, a mixtape collaboration with Young Thug. Chris Brown is originally from Tappahannock, Virginia. Like a lot of kids born in the mid to late 80s, he got into his parents' favorite music but eventually fell under the spell of hip-hop. Around the time his voice changed, he discovered his singing ability and switched his focus away from macking. A move to New York led to being discovered by Tina Davis, a Def Jam A&R executive who became the singer's manager shortly after losing her position in the Sony, BMG merger. The Jive label, due in part to its track record with younger artists who had established longevity like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, won the bidding war for Brown and lined up several production and songwriting heavyweights, including Jermaine Dupri, Bryan-Michael Cox, Garrett, and Scott Storch, for his self-titled first album. An immediate top 10 hit when it was released in 2005, Chris Brown not only featured the number 1 Run It, but 2 other top 10 singles in Yo Excuse Me Miss and Say Goodbye. Brown was subsequently nominated for a Grammy in the category of Best New Artist. Exclusive, released in 2007 and a bit of a departure from the wholesome image presented throughout his debut, was even more successful, featuring the number 1 single Kiss Kiss and 2 other top 5 hits. Yet another top 5 hit came with No Air, a duet with Jordin Sparks that appeared on Sparks' own self-titled album. Brown also co-wrote Disturbia, a number 1 hit for Rihanna. In March 2009, Brown was charged with felonious assault of Rihanna, an altercation that had prevented his then-partner from taking the stage at the Grammy Awards. Brown was scheduled to perform as well, but he did not appear and maintained a low profile for several months. A fairly substantial backlash resulted in Brown's songs being pulled from rotation on several radio stations. Ultimately, however, it had little bearing on the progress of his music career and side acting gigs. The week before the December release of his third album, Graffiti, the single I Can Transform You was well on its way to reaching the top 20 of the Hot 100, and his acting roles, which had already included spots in Stomp the Yard and a recurring role on the O.C. hadn't shown any sign of drying up. Graffiti fell considerably short of gold-selling status, but it was nominated for a Grammy Award in the category of Best Contemporary R&B Album, and its Hank collaboration, Take My Time, was nominated for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or a Group with Vocals. Weeks after the 2011 Grammy Awards ceremony, Brown released his 4th album, F.A.M.E., which already had 4 singles on the charts. That album topped the Billboard 200 in the Hot R&B/Hip-Hop charts, and it took the 2012 Grammy for Best R&B Album. During the ceremony, he performed a medley of Beautiful People and Turn Up the Music, the latter of which previewed Fortune, his 5th album, released in May 2012 and an immediate chart topper in the US. A sequence of several singles that began with Fine China preceded X, released in September 2014. Less inspired by European dance pop and more R&B oriented than his previous release, the album included contributions from R. Kelly, Usher, and Lil Wayne, among many others. 4 of its singles peaked within the R&B top 10. X was only 5 months old when Brown and Tyga, who had previously worked together on one of those hits, Loyal, as well as the earlier Deuces, teamed up for Fan of a Fan, the album. By the end of 2015, Brown released Royalty, his 7th proper album, which was propped up by the top 20 pop hit Back to Sleep. Brown cranked out material in larger volumes and made more featured appearances through the end of the 2010s. Heartbreak on a Full Moon arrived in October 2017 with 45 songs on its deluxe edition. It entered the Billboard 200 at number 3, making it the artist's 8th consecutive top 10 album. The following year, Brown appeared on a few high-profile collaborative singles, highlighted by Lil Dicky's Freaky Friday, another top 10 hit. In June 2019, Brown returned with his 9th solo album, the chart-topping double-length Indigo. A track from the LP, No Guidance, was nominated for a Grammy for Best R&B Song. The commercial mixtape Slime and B, a collaboration with Young Thug, followed in May 2020.